It's 6:01.
I'm
And
sorry.
since we have 7 items of new business, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Want to pause for a moment of silent reflection. Okay. Chief, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will, you want to lead us in a roll call? so we can
Okay.
do it?
Steve Denny,
Here.
Shane Davis,
Here.
Chet Bab,
Here.
Jennifer Roberts,
Here.
Marissa Skaggs.
Here.
All present and accounted for.
Okay, the minutes from the prior meeting are in the Google Drive. I trust we've all had a chance to review those.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the prior meeting.
I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay, clerk treasurer's report. Willie, you're up.
All right, short and sweet, because we got a lot to go through tonight. If you look at the register, you'll notice that it's about normal, other than Aaron buying a new tractor. That's about the only big expense. And you see our general funds at 1.1, so everything looks great. We have the State Board of Account Auditors here, so you probably see them around. They're doing a fine job.
Do we have a motion to approve the claims as presented?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve the claims. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims for the month of April. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right, department reports. Chief?
All right, Pendleton Police Department report for April. Officer Kroga, he's in charge of my reserve program. He's been taking applications and trying to get that going. People don't want to do this job for free as much as they used to in the past. And, but we have, I think, 2 good candidates right now. And we're also helping some other small towns with the training. Sam's taking care of that. The full-time position, we recently interviewed for that. And we have filled that position with Shane Briggs. Shane is a captain with Edgewood Police Department. And he actually started today, it was his first day, and we tried to run over Marissa. And
It failed.
I swerved just in time. But no, he's very knowledgeable, very squared away. He's gonna be an asset to the town. He's excited. And we swore him in yesterday, and again, he started today. Right now, we're currently have more men than cars. So that's kind of a dilemma we're working through, but it's working out. Street cop training, myself, Captain Trailer, and Jerry Branson attended a week training conference down in Nashville. A lot of big name speakers. Drug interdiction was one of the main things, and hides, where they build their car to hide drugs and blah, blah, blah. So it was good training. And it was well worth the trip. And we returned that Friday, and then Saturday we had the baseball parade, which ended up being one of the bigger parades now. It's starting to grow even more. Huge public turnout for what it was. And we called in emergency management to help with that, and then the officers, and we put on a parade, and everything was fine. So a total of 1,179 calls through dispatch for the month. And you have the other numbers. So does you have any questions?
Any questions for Mark?
And Shane's going to be a night shifter, so I'll get him in here on his rotation. It's like 6'3", 6'4" with a flat top, so he's not hard to recognize. He used to work out at the reformatory as an investigator, and then of course Edgewood Police Department.
Great.
Yep.
Anything else for Mark? All right, great. Is Judge Jasperovic on Zoom? Doesn't look like anybody's on Zoom. Aaron, from the park, you're up.
I can keep mine short and sweet. If you don't have any questions for me, I won't bore you reading my report to you. So any questions?
Any questions for Aaron? We've all seen the playground equipment going up. Exciting time.
Exciting times.
If you've been to the golf course, it's been busy. That's exciting times.
Sorry, never mind, cut it.
How many times a day does somebody ask you when it's gonna be done?
I stopped counting.
I
Yeah.
know, I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down. So I
It'll be
never
done when
ask
it's
you
done.
again.
How's
Yeah.
that?
That works.
Hopefully, I don't even want to say that.
no,
4 to
yeah,
5
don't,
weeks.
don't,
I get questions on it too, but not as much as you do.
I think everyone in this room probably gets questions on it. So
When are you gonna move the 2 rock signs up front?
whenever BL Brown gets finished up with his job, hopefully a couple weeks.
And one of them's going at North 40 and the other's going to the baseball diamond.
Correct.
Good.
That assuming they come out in 1 piece.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you keep those.
Yep.
Assuming they come out. I like that.
Yeah. it's really come out in one piece.
I want
It's
to know
really
when you're
good.
gonna do it. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen, they're way deep down. in
Oh, I
there.
know.
They're hefty.
Back when concrete was $20 a yard.
I just put an extra yard.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, no worries, go ahead.
Yeah, no big deal.
All right, any questions for Aaron? Otherwise, you guys have seen his report. All right, great,
Thank you.
thank you. Hannah,
Jumping the gun.
I jumped again.
All right, you have our building permit summary in front of you. Let me know if you have any questions on that. I just as well have a few things. Our HPC has been working really, really hard on the update of the design guidelines. So our last meeting, they got the second half of it updated with comments. So I'm putting all of that together. We went through all 47 structures on our inventory and updated every rehab and repair guideline that was listed. So they have really been doing an excellent job with updating that document. It was in need of it. Our community coordinator position, we did have an interview with a potential candidate. They did back out. So we do have some other candidates in line. We're having a meeting with Main Street and PBA Monday to solidify those candidates and set up interview dates with them. The US 36 project that NDOT is doing, them and their engineering team is coordinating a public info session. So that should be solidified by next week. And then when they figure out the final date, time, location, we will put it on all of our social media channels, announce it at public hearings, etc. Last, our business park trail. So we finally got our notice to proceed from the state. That was the very last item we were waiting on before we could get going on this. Our engineer is really hungry to get started on this. So next week, we have a meeting with them and MCOG to get that ball rolling. So we're really excited for that. That's all I've got. Any questions for me?
later we'll hear from you about the UDO amendments.
Yes. Mhm.
Great, all right, Scott.
Sorry.
Slides. You didn't put them in there. They're not in there. Okay, so off the top of my head, electric department has finished out Carrick Glen, so all the installs on that are 100% done. And they also finished out section 5 in Hunsinger Farms. The water department, or I'm sorry, the street department, if you know, we've had a constant problem with water being pumped out of a basement into West Water Street. And the guys did a lot of heavy work and have installed new drainage. The cones are still there because they poured the concrete in anticipation. We'll probably add to our paving project to pave out that section because the construction is pretty rough. Okay. You can go to the highlights since I'm on that. Okay, billing department, they've been getting ready for Ossuary. For people who want to preserve that. And then water department, they rehabbed a contractor did rehab the old water treatment plant retention tank. They fixed the sidewalk and painted the sidewalk stairway. They went to the roof and did some painting. You can go back up to just major activities. So the meeting that Hannah was talked about, it's pretty much going to go that June 7th. If something happens, I'll let you know otherwise, but I wanted to give you a heads up before.
I believe the tentative date we're looking at actually is the 14th, because they didn't.
Oh, they bumped it?
Because June Jamboree is happening.
No, I told them, I told them to go ahead and have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why
because
it's tentative.
people who go to Jamboree and interested in that are going to be two different groups. So, yeah, you probably weren't in that chain of emails today. Then on the 17th, we do have the third and final session on Pelton's response to growth. And it'll be the format's a Q&A session. The rate study for water and electric is in progress. And then unfortunately, we've discovered additional collapses at the line that runs along the railroad bed, Madison Avenue, Elm Street. It goes past right against the wall on the Pelton Lumber Company. Ironically, the manhole is right outside the little office that Banning Engineering rents there. And then it continues at a diagonal where the railroad used to run through town. And so basically between behind the lumber company back towards the south, all the way up to the liquor store, we're finding additional collapses. So what we thought would be an Elm Street South project may look like now a State Street South project, which is going to add significantly to that project. So when the costs right now before that is 1.8 million. So it's rising. I think I have a picture of the Water Street project. So the guys saved us a lot of money by doing that. There's an inlet, and then the piping runs along the north side. The Water Street connects into an inlet that, I don't know, several years ago, the guys constructed using their own forces too. So with that, any questions?
Any questions for Scott? All right, thanks. Okay, we're gonna start on old business 2308 and 2309. Those are our amended peddler's permit and also the mobile food vendor ordinance. We reviewed those last month. The peddler's permit is the exact same as what it was last month. The mobile food vendor does have that provision J, I believe it is listed, which sets a 50-foot boundary for a food truck that is not affiliated with a special event to be set up adjacent to another open restaurant. Any discussion for 2308? If no discussion, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion.
We have a motion for approval of 2308 new amended peddler's permit. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the new amended peddler's permit ordinance 2308 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, next up is 2309 mobile food vendor. This is the one that has that provision J that we discussed last month. Do you have any other discussion on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moves.
We have a motion for approval of 2309 mobile food vendor. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of 2309 mobile food vendor ordinance. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Oh, sorry, all opposed. All right, motion carried. Okay, moving on to new business, 2310 Grove Lawn Cemetery fees. Last month, if you remember, we basically amended the previous ordinance that set these rates to include the ossuarium fee structure, with the promise that this month we would present the entire, like the whole new fee schedule for both plots and the ossuarium / columbarium. So that is what this is. Any discussion?
How, Scott, it's probably for you. How does these new prices or what we're looking at here compare to Memorial Park?
It's less.
Pardon me?
It's less.
Okay. I just didn't want to price ourselves.
It's less. It didn't par with, like with others.
Okay.
We make ours, our cemetery is pretty straightforwardly priced in the research that I did. You go to some surrounding ones and there are literally, 12 different price brackets, depending on where you are, what section it is, all of those things. And so ours is by far the most simple as far as being a price structure, which I thought was nice for our customers. So we don't have a bunch of different options. These rates reflected in this would take effect on June 1st. Just as a point of order. Any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion for approval of 2310 Grove Lawn Cemetery fees. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the Grove Lawn Cemetery fees ordinance 2310. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now, in order to make this go into effect on June 1st, we need a motion to suspend the rules so we can do a double vote this evening. And it would have to be unanimous to suspend the rules, correct?
That's right. I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Always your thing, Shane.
Yeah, it's always Shane's calling. Okay, we have a motion and a second to suspend the
He's always
rules.
looking like he can say it.
Do we need to do a roll call vote to suspend the rules, or can we all just signify by saying aye?
Always votes fine.
Okay, all in favor of suspending the rules, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carried to suspend the rules. Now I'll entertain a second read on 2310 Grove Lawn Cemetery fees.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All right, we have a motion and a second on the second read of 2310 Grove Lawn Cemetery fees. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carried. Those rates will go into effect June 1st. Okay. Next is 2311 amending the UDO. Hannah, do you want to talk about these amendments a little bit?
Yeah, and I think you should have the list of them with
Yep.
the recommendations, so if you have any questions, just let me know. So we had some definitions that were missing that we needed to add for some uses. The mural signage was something we added as an allowed signage style in downtown business, and that was coordinated with a recommendation from HPC. We do have some historic mural signage down here. So before it was completely prohibited, and now it is under their purview to permit. And our exterior finish materials, we have a table in there prohibiting certain materials. That isn't super clear, so we're working on some clarification for that. It started with the title and some of the products were named brands, not actual products themselves, similar to tissues, Kleenex, you always call it a Kleenex kind of thing. So we clarified some of that language to make it clear that it was a product and not a brand that was prohibited. So we are working on a few more for next month. But it's getting to be less and less.
Mhm.
So,
You're making good progress.
and it does help, when we have stuff come up with developments, whether it's housing or commercial, there's parts of that UDO we've never had to use, and then we have to use it in that instance. So it's a good exercise to see what's working and what's not. But for the most part, it's a really solid document.
Great. Any questions for Hannah or discussion about 2311, amending the UDO with the exhibit A that's attached. If not, if no discussion, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion for 23-11.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2311, amending the UDO. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Hannah, is this a time of the essence thing, or can we
We're good.
do
Oh,
second?
no, we have 2 readings.
Oh, okay, the
PC is
planning commission
first,
counts
yeah.
first. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, great. All right, 2312, amending speed limits for the town of Pendleton. Jeff, do you want to explain what the point of this is?
Sure, there are times in which, due to changing conditions, or we just realize that, oh my gosh, it's an unsafe condition, either the town marshal or the town manager or their agents might put a stop or a speed limit sign out there that's less than the posted limit or the limit that's in the ordinance. Chief brought up a good point that, where's the authority to write an ordinance violation on that? That's what you have in front of you today. As posted under these conditions, then they can be cited under this ordinance should it pass.
Any questions regarding 2312, amending speed limits for the town of Pendleton? If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve 23-12.
Okay, we have a motion for approval of 2312, amending speed limits for the town of Pendleton. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Do we need to double, is this a situation where we should have this and we have been lagging, so we need to go ahead and go ahead and approve it tonight? Or are we fine with just the first read?
When's the park? When's our next meeting?
The park is gonna make a resolution that would then come to us at our June meeting. So are we fine to wait until June on this?
Yeah.
Okay, then we will wait. Okay, first read on that. 2313, establishing hourly rate labor charges. Before we get into discussing this, there is one amendment on that. One word we're gonna add after the word police captain, we are gonna say /officer. That was inadvertently left off when we were combining ordinances and revising those. And so the police captain and the officer, those charges would be mirrored of each other at $99 per hour. Scott, do you have anything to add to this?
No, it's just keeping up with inflation. But the nice thing is we did put a rider in there that we forget to do this every year. It automatically goes 3%.
Right. Okay. This says we had a public hearing on the increases on May 8th.
So May 11th.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I'll get you a corrected copy. If we pass this tonight, I'll get a corrected copy with the changes.
Okay.
You can sign the one that's handwritten and then
Got it.
I can attach a clean correct copy.
Any questions about 2313? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval with the amendment as stated.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second for 2313.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for 2313 with the noted amendment of adding the word officer after captain. All in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carried. Are we okay to wait for a second read until next month on that? Okay, great. Okay, resolution 2304. The disposal of certain abandoned property located in town storage units. Scott, do you have anything to add on this?
This is just a way to cover the town. this guides the town manager on when property and town-owned storage spots would be deemed abandoned. State law defines that there on the site. It's kind of common sense stuff, but that's sometimes that's an argument when it's abandoned, when it's not. And then 60 days is the time where it's set, it's abandoned for 60 days. And we, this isn't trying to take anybody's property, but at the same time, we clear up the space. But we do make reasonable efforts to locate, notify the property owners before we do anything to their property.
Great. Any questions for Jeff regarding this? Okay, if not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion for approval of 2304 storage units. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for resolution 2304, the disposal of abandoned property located in town storage units. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, resolution 2305, the disposition of cases subsequent to the closing of the Pendleton Town Court. This basically directs all of our future ordinance violations or matters currently heard by the town court to Anderson City Court or Elwood City Court. Since our court will be abolished on December 31st of this year. Any questions for Jeff about that?
Is City Anderson and Elwood been talked to about all this? And
Yes.
but so the officers can write a citation for either court?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a preference to which court they're gonna write it?
The only reason for the ability to use Elwood is something with Anderson.
That's what the prosecutor wants us to do.
What's that?
Didn't they send out a memo geographically saying, hey, if you prefer south, go to Anderson, north, go to Elwood, north part of the county? There was a memo out. And it was, 2 months ago. No, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, I think the prosecutor wants us. My point was.
I think I said last month. Some officers got when he patrolled 450 square miles of Madison County and he'd stop somebody that lived in that alley, he would write in alley or Elwood, so it's closer to the offender. And then he was running around in 5 different courts in this county.
Right.
We're using it.
Okay, any other discussion regarding 2305? Okay, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second for approval?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of resolution 2305, the disposition of cases subsequent to the closing of the Pendleton Town Court. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. 2306, resolution 2306. Scott, do you want to talk about this?
Can I defer to council?
Sure.
For their package?
This is the resolution you have in front of, what it does, it effectively just authorizes our town manager to sign any and all lease purchase agreement for your new police fleet vehicles. They're bought at what's called the state rate, so we can get around that. The public purchasing statutes have already been followed by the state, and these are the prices that we put in front of you. You did receive the guts of the thing, the lease purchase agreement that Scott will be signing tomorrow. We're looking to tomorrow if we pass this resolution. But really, that's all. This is just a fancy way of saying, Scott, please sign all the documents necessary to lease the police cars.
So Lucas knows, assuming the chief knows, so because we're down a car that we're going to go.
Yeah.
They will allow us to add to that. Just a new schedule, so we don't have to go through this. So gotta find us some cars, right?
Yeah.
So this would be,
Tell Ford, not the Dodge, so.
so 12 vehicles plus the existing 2 trucks would make their entire fleet 14, is that correct?
Yeah, so new vehicles, you're gonna keep some in there behind, right? Yes. Some of the old-
Okay,
But we do have the option of adding it.
Years past, we always kept 2 of the old.
And what years are the older fleet?
they look like a 2013, but I'm not sure. Okay, so the way that this sits right now, you have the authority to lease 12 new vehicles, correct?
Now, we're-
And that includes the one that is newly disabled.
that was an older vehicle. So.
No, what I'm asking is, when you lease the 12, does that include a replacement for the one that got broken last Friday?
Yes, at the body shop.
Okay, great. That's all I wanted to know. Okay. Any other discussion for 2306, the lease agreement? If not.
Jeff, I don't have anything in writing. We're just basically, the board is authorizing Scott to sign, right?
Yes, that's it. That's all this resolution does. I do have a copy of the agreements you're authorizing him to sign, along with a copy of the attorney's letter that are required for this, but if you'd like to look at that, I do have.
Well, I just don't have anything for the board to sign on this.
Yeah, so, yeah, what do I take to the closing that has their,
This resolution. You have a copy of the 2306. I
Yes.
tried to sign that one too.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Scott signs as leasing and then
Well,
You
no,
s-
the
you sign it.
lessee, the president will sign if we pass it, and then you'll attest to this clerk treasurer,
right.
and then I'll sign it to form, and then he'll take it to the board.
Okay.
They are.
They're not.
Oh, that's good. That makes it feel better.
Yeah, normally what we do is at the end of the warranty. which is
So he's gonna be here at 9. Bank, so it's through the bond bank, thank you. And then bank, that's the sub. bank. It's,
Jeff, I need a sidebar over here, man. This is signs here. I witnessed you sign it. There's no mention of Scott on there.
Yeah, on bottom of 2, section 4. Yeah.
Town manager.
Yeah, well,
Do work clerk.
or you could do it too, if you do anything.
He doesn't know anything about cars.
Oh, it's
He knows.
Okay,
Not that good.
Okay, clear as mud. All right. We have a motion for approval of resolution 2306, releasing of equipment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for 2306. All in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. Anybody on Zoom? Nope. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I always get home in on the phone before we get off. Nobody asked a question. We did last Friday. You guys worked diligently. Whenever there's a big case like this, you'd be amazed how the group of men come together, separate what needs to be done. Everybody works on it. It's awesome to sit back and watch. That being said, the new property room area has been a godsend up there. I actually sent a text asking, I want to say they've logged in over 100 pieces. Which is phenomenal. And we've already reached out as far as investigation goes. Anderson Knights down, Newcastle, Indianapolis, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like on TV, it doesn't happen in 50 minutes, but,
You say, can you comment on what was in the safe? Curious.
but, one thing, I make the mistake of reading. With that being said,
Big.
I assure you that if there was any danger to any resident of the town of Pendleton during an investigation, we would safeguard that by putting out that information. Make sure everybody's aware to be careful. That's necessary at this point. Everybody, when we live in, whether it be Friday or tomorrow, please be aware of their surroundings and be cautious. If anybody's in imminent danger, please make this.
Absolutely. Any other public comment, anything else anybody wants to talk about? All right, if not, meeting adjourned.